Welcome back to the Barbershop. It's your boy G Bush as always. Host of the Barbershop every single Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 92.3 The Fan. You can also check me out on the Odyssey app as always, man. If you're a little busy out and about, can't catch the shows, make sure you go download that Odyssey.com app and you can rewind my show, The Barbershop, and any other shows on 92.3 up to 24 hours. Also, please be ready. The Browns tailgate is coming up this year. I will be hosting the Browns tailgate as I've done the last 3 years with, Anthony Lima, Ken Carman, Jonathan Peterlin, Mike Chico Borman. I will be down there every home game. This is sponsored by Pumpkinhead. Shout out to Pumpkinhead and West 6 Barley. Make sure you guys get down there. I'm going to be doing meet and greets down there. If you want to get a chance to meet me, maybe you picked up the show a little bit later. Maybe you listened to my show, but you never really met me in person. I really want you guys to get down there in the tailgates. I'll be interested to see all the people mingle. I'll also be giving away my own personal giveaways. So when you guys come down there, I'm just not coming down there to do nothing. I'm going to be giving stuff away that is pertaining to the barbershop, whether it be merchandise, whether it be trinkets, or just fan appreciation. And I'll be giving that stuff out while we're down there coming by the Muni Lot West 6 in Barley this year. We didn't get a chance to root on the Browns. Make sure you do that coming up this year and do it with 92.3 The Fan and your boy G Bush. Let's get into it. Browns versus Giants. First game at First Energy Stadium. I thought the atmosphere was great. I thought it was a beautiful, picturesque day. And I was really excited to see some of the things that went down in the game. So, like I always do, I'm going to point out a lot of different things. However, I'm going to actually point out some good and bad things. There's a couple people and a couple situations that I wasn't too keen on in this game. And I'm going to break that down coming up now. First of all, let me just give you this from a Browns perspective. There's a couple things that a few people need to understand. If you played in this game and you weren't a rookie and you played in this game against the Giants, that should tell you something. If you played in this game and you were a veteran, a person that's been on the squad for a minute, a person that's contributed in this league, and you was playing today, that don't look good for you, bro. All the other starters was sitting. All the other starters was hanging out, chilling. But there was a couple of people that were veterans that were out there looking to make a name for themselves, looking to be able to show the roster, show the general manager and the head coach what they was made of. One of the people that I thought was really strange was Billings. And when you look at him on the defensive line, to me, I know he's one of the strongest people in the league. I know he's a great run stopper. But for me, it looked like Coach Stefanski was telling Mr. Billings, listen, bro, you're going to have to get in shape. You're going to have to, I know what you can do as far as holding the point of attack, but you're going to have to get in shape. To me, he looked winded. To me, he looked like he couldn't get off blocks today. To me, he looks like he needs to lose about 10 pounds and get in football shape. That's what, and him playing in his game and him projected as a starter, you got to understand that don't look good for you. You didn't see Malik Jackson. You didn't see any of the linebackers. You didn't see Walker. You didn't see any of those guys. You saw none of our safeties. You didn't see Harrison. You didn't see Delpit. You didn't see Johnson III. And for you, Billings, you're supposed to be known as a run stopper. Early on in this game, the Browns were getting gashed on the run. They were getting gashed on the run. I saw no punch. I didn't see any penetration. I didn't see anybody getting off blocks. And for me, I'm not having a knee-jerk reaction, but for me, I just think the Browns could have did a lot better job in controlling the run. Too many yards after contact. Guys not really bringing that energy level to the ball carrying. What I mean by energy level is attacking, rapping violently, and not allowing extra yards after the catch. Granted, it's the number twos, but I evaluate all of them. I'm not going to give everybody a pass because the ones didn't play. I'm doing individual analysis on the people that did play today. So Billings, to me, the fact that he played today showed me Coach Stefanski wants to work him into shape. He has 3 weeks to get in shape before we get to the first game of the season against the Kansas City Chiefs. And if he doesn't do it, I fully There's other guys out there that can fill that place. I thought Day had a good day on the defensive front. Sheldon Day. I thought there's another couple of guys up front as far as the D tackles are concerned that showed me a little something. Another thing that I saw, Marvin Wilson, he got the big signing bonus coming into training camp and after the draft, but he looks like he's a guy that he might be on the bubble to cut. Because when you see Togiai getting more minutes than he is, he's not even getting into the late fourths. There's going to be a lot of guys who are getting cut, and so I'm looking at some different. Jordan Elliott, he played pretty well again today as well. So, I was disappointed in general in terms of that running game. The running game and its stoutness up front. I just need Billings to get in more shape. And I also need there to be more changing the line of scrimmage and being physical up front. I thought the Giants did a really good job of running the football today. Everything was vanilla, checking it down. But that's one thing I'm looking at moving forward. The next guy is Greedy Williams. So I'm just going to break it down for you guys and what's going on right now. Greedy Williams, they're putting him out there not to see if he can make plays on the football. They're not putting him out there consistently to see if he has the ball skills or he's going to physically, skill for skill, compete against Newsome or Troy Hill. Let me tell you what they're really doing with Greedy Williams. They're putting Greedy Williams out to see how durable he is. They're trying to check and see, should I be investing these reps in Greedy Williams or should I be investing these reps into Newsome? Should I be investing the reps into Troy Hill? And what they're trying to do is figure out, and if you noticed, there was Newsome playing in the slot today. They want to see if Newsome can play in the slot. They want to see if Troy Hill has to move to that other corner position. They need to get a look because if they can find that Newsome is a better nickel corner because he's a little young, because he's a little, may not be able to go against the top two receivers on another team, what they're looking to see is, well, look, I would rather go with Troy Hill on the outside rather than I would go with Newsome, who's a rookie. Let's go ahead and put Newsome in the slot if Greedy Williams isn't able to come through or we don't know if we can count on him. So now we can get an evaluation with Troy Hill over at the outside, covering everybody's number two receiver. You know what you got in Denzel Ward on the other end, and we want to see if Newsome can either play either one of those positions because we want the best corners on the field. So when you look at the breakdown of what happened today and Greedy Williams going out of the game, with the groin injury, either it's a groin or a hamstring. Either or, those type of injuries take a long time to heal, especially when you're using your body turning and running and different things like that. For me, I don't understand, hamstrings are going to go, hamstrings happen all the time. But for me, if you're going to be a person that's out there, you gotta invest in your body, man. I don't know what you're doing in the off season, but you coming off the field too much, man. You're just coming off the field, and I get it. I'm a firsthand example of what happens when you have multiple compounded injuries. You just can't get right. But this summer wasn't about seeing if Greedy Williams can play corner. It was seeing how durable he was. They're counting behind the scenes. Okay, how many practices did Newsome miss? How many times did Newsome come off the field? How many times did Newsome have to, be on the side on the bike? So they're making a judgment call and an evaluation to see who should they invest these reps in. Because if I can't count on Greedy Williams, what I need to do is I need to get this young boy ready so he can either play in a slot or opposite Denzel Ward. Either way. So, I thought that was unfortunate for Greedy Williams not being able to stay out there today. He's had some issues with some migraines. Obviously, it looks like, the shoulder might be up to speed, but right now it's the soft tissue stuff and not playing for 2 years that is rearing his ugly head. And I just think he needed to do a better job of getting with trainers, getting with a personal trainer and staff, and making sure that his lower body and his legs were ramped up and ready to go, even if his shoulder wasn't. It don't take it don't take nothing away from your shoulder. You can't injure your shoulder making sure that your legs and hamstrings are together. So that was an issue for him. Not last year. He missed it with the he missed that with the shoulder injury. But going back to his rookie year in camp, he had hamstrings the whole entire camp. So that was another thing that, I thought was very fascinating. And I think that's what they're doing over there at that corner position. Moving right along and looking at what the Browns did offensively, there was a really nice couple bright spots offensively. I really thought D'Ernest Johnson is quietly making his case to be that third down back. He's quietly making a case for this guy to be on the roster. And it wasn't a flash in the pan of what he did against Dallas last year. I like what D'Ernest Johnson can do. He has nice bursts. He has good vision. A couple times they were running a zone play. He found the right zone to the outside. I think he does a good job of cutting and getting his shoulder pads moving forward. I think he can catch the football in a screen game. Overall, I just think D'Ernest Johnson has had a really solid camp in terms of just showing his skill set. Showing he can catch, showing he can run, not doing a terrible job blocking either. I just think he showed he's going to be on this squad. I will also say the running back room looked good as well. This Kelly kid, I don't know who the heck he is or where they got him from, but this Kelly kid showed me something today, man. I thought he had nice rhythm. I think he runs hard. I think he got a lot of run power. He's not easily brought down by one defender. So I like a lot what I've seen from him. I love what he did on the touchdown run, showed the speed to the outside for a big back. So I like what he's done so far running the football. He's a bigger back. I don't know, this might be an uphill battle for him to make the team because I don't know if he can play those special teams positions. If you're going to be a running back, they only typically carry 3 running backs. You're going to have to make the team doing something other than being running back. And I don't know if he has, the long-term skill set or special teams guy that can earn him a roster spot. I think he might be a prime guy to be put, on waivers or possibly the practice squad, and maybe they can stash him there in case, Kareem Hunt or Nick Chubb go down. He'll be a guy that they could just bring up for the practice squad. But given the way I see him running the football now, that might not be possible because I was really impressed with his vision. I like how he runs the ball a lot too. Keeping on that offensive side of the ball as well, another person that I really like, man, DEMETRIC FELTON, to me, he has stood out. To me, he's almost stood out more than any other rookie on the team. These next 2 guys I really think are really showing themselves to be diamonds or finds. I like the way DEMETRIC FELTON runs the ball in the backfield. We got to see him catch the ball more last week against Jacksonville. This game, you see him doing a lot of different things, running the ball behind center. I think one of his special moves is his jump cut is ridiculous. There was 3 or 4 jump cuts I seen where he's, his lateral jump cut and the ability to shift from A gap to B gap, slippery, never really seems to be taking a large hit. He does a really good job of, staying low, and he's very elusive, man. So I was impressed with him not only running the football, but now you get an opportunity to see the ways they can actually use him. That may work to another disadvantage when you're talking about for Kelly, because Kelly is strictly a running back. DEMETRIC FELTON, if you keep him on the roster, you now have another running back in case somebody gets hurt. You now have a guy who can play receiver. You got a guy that's meant for special teams on all of the special teams. And it might be an uphill battle for Kelly because of the simple fact that DEMETRIC FELTON has looked so good this preseason. Just really impressed with him. Really overall impressed with what he came and gave to the table today. Another rookie, Richard LeCounte. Richard LeCounte came up with another interception today. Another interception, granted, was off a Hail Mary at the end of the half, but plays are plays. Make the play. He's getting his name in the paper. So I think LeCounte does a really good job of being around the football. He had a high pro football focus grade last week, almost in the 90s. I'm interested to see what he'll grade out today. But he's still continuing to make those strides. And here's the thing. right now, you have to say that LeCount is able to be counted on, no pun intended, more than Grant Delpit at this point, right? I haven't even seen Grant Delpit play in dang near, 2 years. And the year he came out when he was a junior. The year he came out, he was injured with an ankle. So we haven't seen Grant Delpit in 3 years nearly since he came out of LSU really be full speed, 100% go. So that's why you go ahead and you draft guys like that. That's why you never punt on these six, 7 round picks, because more than ever, it's imperative that once you become a good team and you have a stacked roster where a lot of money is going to different people, it's imperative that you are developing depth and talent behind them so that you can plug in guys if a guy gets hurt or somebody needs to walk in free agency because they want too much. It's imperative that you have another guy that can step up. So even though our safety room is very, very deep, I love the fact that they went out, identified a guy and Richard LeCount that was able to make and bring a specific skill set to the team. He's also a guy I think can play special teams. So I was really, really encouraged by that as well. And then moving along to the coaching staff and different things like that, I really think when you watch that first draft, or excuse me, that first drive by the Browns, you can see that Kevin Stefanski's playbook, man, it ain't nothing over the top, but just the way his play call sequence is running is crazy, man. I think, he is probably one of the most scripted play callers that I've seen in a while. Because if you go back and look at that specific drive, he was calling the run pass calls. He was mixing it up like fruit cocktail. Joe Thomas was in, Andrew Hawkins was up in the booth before the game. When you watch the game, they talking about, it's going to be a crazy run game. I don't think they're going to be throwing the ball that much. Man, this dude, Stefanski, came right out there first 2 plays, 3-step game, 5-step game. Man, his progression in the way he calls the game is mean. And if the Browns can still stay on schedule, not have, what we call those negative plays that put you 3rd and long, 2nd and long, and then it's kind of predictable in what you're running. If the Browns stay in 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, people going to be in trouble because he's doing a lot of different things. He's doing a lot of different plays that really keeps people off guard. It keeps people guessing what's coming up. And he utilizes the whole entire field. He utilizes different formations. He utilizes, how he does with tight ends. I thought the tight ends played good today. I thought the fullbacks played well today. It just seems like we haven't even seen our top fullbacks or our top tight ends, but even in this offense with Carlson going down last week, there's 2 more tight ends that he brought up that look pretty good. So the Browns are just, and the fullbacks, Janovich and other fullbacks, they've looked good as well. So I really think that he's probably one of the best play callers in the game right now. Sean McVay gets a lot of credit for his innovative offense and running that zone read with the orbit motion and making everybody think every single play looks alike, but they just run variations off that. I think Stefanski may even be a little better because you don't know what's coming. You can't pigeonhole. Even like he runs reverses. Like who runs reverses in the preseason? Then he goes for it on the goal line. Case Keenum kind of put the ball behind Rashard Higgins and then got knocked down on the goal line. He comes back, runs the same exact play, but he gets KhaDarel Hodge on the perfectly thrown ball by Case Keenum. So he comes back and does that thing and is ready to go. Overall, the game, those are the takeaways I took from the game. I thought the offensive line was a little shaky. I think the young boy out of Cincinnati, he needs a little work. It's just, tackles take a little bit of time to develop. But other than that, I thought the Browns played, once again, really well in certain areas. I think they were, Kevin Stefanski will go back to the drawing board and tell them about the false starts and stuff. I think that'll be cleaned up next week. But as far as the game next week goes and looking forward to it, I'm under the thought process now that they're pretty much not going to play these guys the rest of the year. season. There's been guys who've come out already and said they're not going to play their guys. The LA Chargers are one. The LA Rams have come out and said they're not going to play Matt Stafford the whole training camp. I already knew that Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, and probably OBJ are guys that weren't going to play. I would have been surprised. I would be, if you would have told me before the season that they weren't going to play anybody, I would have thought it would have been kind of a little bit strange, given the fact that, you know, Baker Mayfield likes to play a lot. You know, Nick Chubb is a competitor, Kareem Hunt is a competitor, Jarvis Landry, those guys. But they've already got through these first two. Nobody ever really plays in the last preseason game anyway, traditionally. So, you know, to me, the Browns will look to sit the guys next week, take the 2 weeks off after that, and get ready for the beginning of the season. So one of the things that you don't want is, I just saw some headlines over with the Jets, their top free agent. Their top free agent that they got, a pass rusher, he ends up tearing his Achilles heel, lost for the season. He was dependent on them, on that guy to be the guy who's going to be able to bring some pressure to upgrade to their defense. And the Jets, Lord knows they need it. But when you get a guy who tears his Achilles heel, you know, that doesn't bode well. Like, you don't get extra credit points for saying, well, we was just trying to get him to not be rusty. Those are prime examples of why teams are sitting people and chilling out. At the end of the day, you and me as fans, we got to just admit to the fact that sometimes we just want to see our teams play. We haven't seen the Browns, and we know they're so good. We haven't had an opportunity to see them play in such a long time. That's what our focus is. Our main focus isn't the fact that, oh, woe is me, like the Browns is going to be terrible starting. You don't believe that. All you want to do, all you want is to see your team play. So at the end of the day, I think that's what more on the lines what's going on at this point when people are screaming for their people to play. We didn't have a preseason last year. They didn't have any training camp. They didn't even have OTAs last year. And the Browns had one of the best years they've ever had. So granted, other teams like Tampa Bay, granted other teams, you know, like even the Philadelphia Eagles and, you know, the Cardinals and even the Chiefs played Patrick Mahomes. They played Patrick Mahomes. Yes, that's fine and dandy, and you know, sometimes that gives you a little more motivation to play your guys too. But I just think that those guys being analytical, I think they've already weighed the risk reward between putting those guys out there and shaking a little rust off. So at the end of the day, I don't think you'll see the Browns' main players again next week. And then we'll be talking about getting ready for the season and getting ready to go to Arrowhead. So as always, man, please like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you, everybody who's done that. Please hit the notification bell so you know where you can get some of my Browns content. And as always, man, make sure you like, make sure you share, and make sure you continue to support the barbershop. And I appreciate everybody out there. We'll catch you here on Wednesday. Come back Wednesday. We'll do the preview for the third preseason game. That will be on the channel as well. As always, listen for the Clippers. Peace.